Hello, we're back, department. I'd like to file a claim. If there's anything that I've missed about Cold War, it's the theme of this game. It goes so hard for no reason. Anyways though, what's going on guys? It's Rage, and welcome back to some Black Ops Cold War 4 years later. Now that Black Ops 6 has been out for a little over a month, almost 2 months at this point in time, I figured it'd be a pretty good time just to go back, check out the recent game, plus I had been missing Cold War. Now at the time of recording this video, at nearly 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, the Barrett has not come to the game yet, but the Barrett is going to be returning into Black Ops 6, and I figured, let's go ahead and use the latest Treyarch Barrett that we had. The Barrett is going to be returning to BO6 on the 19th as a event reward. I have seen some early gameplay of it just being posted on Twitter via leakers, and I think there was a couple YouTube videos out there of it already kind of showing it off. And my bold prediction, I guess I can't even really say a bold prediction, just kind of going off of what we already knew in Black Ops Cold War as to how the Barrett was going to be performing in BO6. I figured it was going to be something pretty similar, and it looks like that's to be the case. Oh, wait a second, I haven't played this game in so long. I think my settings got reset. Hold on. Oh my god, yeah, ray tracing was on. I knew something was off. I was gonna say, listen man, I'm playing multiplayer. There's absolutely no reason for me to be running ray tracing right now. It's crazy though. In comparison to BO6, it's wild how much smoother this game feels right now. Oh my god, I thought I saw him out of the corner of my eye. I feel like this goes without being said, but there's definitely going to be a whole lot of compare and contrast between this game and BO6. As far as BO6 goes, as of right now, that is my biggest complaint with the game. It's just really the way that it performs. Oh, hold on. Well, there were more red dots over here. Guess I was wrong. If I'm not mistaken, Cold War here really was the last Call of Duty game that was made on a separate engine from Modern Warfare 2019, because all the way up until this point in time, it was Modern Warfare, Cold War, Vanguard was made on the Modern Warfare engine, then we had Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Everything now has moved towards the unified Call of Duty engine where every dev studio is working on the same thing. Again, if I'm not mistaken, Cold War here really was the last game that was made on that dedicated Treyarch T engine. And the thing with Black Ops 6, again, when I think about it, is that my performance in comparison to Modern Warfare 3, now granted, I didn't have like insane frames. Most of the time when it comes to Call of Duty, I play on like normal-ish textures because I still want the graphics to, you know, like look good for YouTube videos and clips. On average on MW3, I think I'd be getting anywhere between like 130 to 200 frames on a vast majority of maps, and on Black Ops 6, I'm barely scratching the surface of 100 frames. 3080, Ryzen 9 3900 XT processor, 64 gigs of RAM. I really don't know what's so different about Black Ops 6 and why the game is just so much more heavily CPU dependent, but I guess at some point I gotta upgrade, so. It's why, again, loading up Cold War, I can already feel the difference. Like the frames, hold on. Usually I don't like having all the telemetry stuff on, but yeah, just like that. Normal settings, 160, 70 frames, pretty good. The thing is as well is that if I optimize my PC, like if I did overclocking or even just tanked my graphics, I could probably easily break over 200, but I just don't do that. What I really do appreciate about Cold War, especially now going back and playing it, looking back at it in hindsight, is I really appreciate how good the game actually feels. I know in comparison to Modern Warfare 2019, that's gonna sound really weird, as that was one of the biggest complaints about this game at the time, but Cold War here really is the last Call of Duty, the last more so traditional arcadey feeling Call of Duty that we've had, because all the way again throughout the course of the Warzone era of Call of Duty, it's all been about tac sprinting and slide canceling and movement god, raw, crown emoji. It's the last Call of Duty that doesn't have tac sprint, and honestly, this game doesn't need tac sprint, and that's still again one of my biggest complaints in comparisons to Black Ops 6, is that BO6, given the size of the maps and the movement, you don't even really need tac sprinting in that game. It's definitely the COD boomer in me that really appreciates that, just because, I don't know, man, I miss the old style of Call of Duty where we didn't have tac sprinting. Maybe a hot take, and I guess I'll just go ahead and add more fuel to the fire in saying this, but in my honest opinion, Black Ops Cold War here, along with the new Modern Warfare 3, genuine top 5 Call of Duty games. I don't know if I can put them like directly in my top 5 when I compare them to the original games, but for new Warzone era Call of Duty games, they are phenomenal. If I were to really think about it, if they're not already in my top 5, they are extremely close to being in my top 5. Overall, I think I would put Black Ops Cold War over Modern Warfare 3 just a little bit though. Only just because Modern Warfare 3's campaign was we don't need to talk about that. I'm getting completely sidetracked bringing Modern Warfare 3 into the equation, but regardless here, Black Ops Cold War truly is one of my favorite Call of Duties, and I got no shame in saying that. I know I've definitely talked about it a lot, but my biggest, like, I hope/I wish what could have been the case with Black Ops Cold War here was that it didn't release in 2019. 2020. This also could be its own completely separate topic, but what Treyarch was able to do for this game, given the pandemic and everything that we went through in 2020, it's a miracle this game even came out when it did. In hindsight, yes, of course, it would have been much better if it was delayed a year and say, for example, release Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer for the year of 2020, update Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone, Verdansk, just let that ride out through 2020, and then release this in 2021. I think in a perfect world, or again, for lack of a better term, that probably would have been the best case scenario as to what really could have happened here with Black Ops Cold War. Truly though, the more that I think about Black Ops Cold War, just the full game package, the campaign was phenomenal in this game. Multiplayer certainly got better over the course of the year because it was pretty bare bones, pretty barren at launch. If I'm not mistaken, I think this game only launched with 8 core multiplayer maps. Then granted, same as Black Ops 6, Nuketown got added into the rotation like a week or two after the game came out. So that was nice, but it still definitely felt very lacking at launch. Again, looking back on it in hindsight, I really don't blame Treyarch for going back and bringing back some older maps. I don't know if that was the plan all along or if that was just like a last minute audible as kind of like, hey, we need something going on for this. And then zombies in this game. I know in comparison to Black Ops 6, I would say BO6 zombies absolutely amazing as well. In comparison to Cold War, again, like I've been talking about in my zombies videos, if you guys have seen them on BO6, I totally see what people are talking about now. At the time, I didn't really understand it just because I was getting back into zombies for the first time since Black Ops 2 here in Black Ops Cold War. But I definitely do see what people were talking about when they're like, yeah, no, Black Ops Cold War zombies is very, very easy.
Strafe run incoming on your location.
Oh, thank God. There it is already. I mean, hey, Air Patrol, I was just about to say, man, that was absolutely inevitable. There was no way I was going to be able to come back to Cold War and not talk about the score streak system in this game. By far, the one thing that truly ruins this game's multiplayer is the score streak system. It was so weird. Like, I kind of understood what they were going for, where it's like, yeah, score streaks, you don't really need to worry about camping so hard to get your harp. But at the same time, though, with the way they did it, it was just, yeah, it was rough. Also, granted, we were still figuring out how the whole skill-based matchmaking system was working right after Modern Warfare 2019, and the way that the score streaks worked, you go on a 5 kill streak, all of a sudden your average SPM is over 500, so in turn, it made skill-based matchmaking feel so much worse.
Hostile strafe run inbound.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, actually. And there it is, yup, without fail. Huge part of the reason, again, this game's multiplayer was, oh, the score streaks. Listen, I ain't gonna lie, man, it was ass. It was very, very bad. Because air patrols were a complete necessity, and especially for strafe runs, I'm sorry, I can't stand strafe runs. Extremely brain dead, extremely obnoxious, literally ruined every 12v12 lobby, but I completely understand why people use it for spawn control. Thing is, though, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with the strafe runs in this game if you could actually shoot them down. You literally cannot shoot them down, so you are reliant on air patrol, you call in your air patrol, someone air patrols your air patrol, which then air patrols that air patrolling your air patrol. It was absolutely terrible. Again, comparing it to BO6, they call them dispatchers, and yet at the same time, I hardly see anybody using them. The return to the traditional score streak system in BO6 was definitely a good call. I still think it'd be really interesting to take a page out of Sledgehammer's book and just try it for a little bit. Just try having the looping score streaks in the game, just to see. Speaking of the maps again here, I know I was just talking about Raid and Express, and even so still, that's one of the biggest complaints about Black Ops 6, as we know. The maps are not very much fan favorites, at least as far as the community consensus goes. I mean, the more that I've been playing Black Ops 6, I don't think the maps are complete trash or anything like that. It's just, it feels like it's lacking the traditional Treyarch style. Because before BO6 came out, they were talking about the return to traditional 3-lane maps, and there's not really traditional 3-lane maps in BO6. There are a couple of maps that do have 3 lanes, but the thing is that the maps designs just don't actually feel and flow like traditional 3-lane maps. Now, granted, that's how it is as of right now on the launch of the game, and that is the initial impression, but to be fair, given the whole live service model, we're going to be seeing a whole year's worth of updates in BO6, and we're going to get a lot more maps, so in due time, who knows how it's going to turn out, we'll just have to see. I'm assuming most of you already know this, but the map Zoo here was actually a BO1 map. It was originally a BO1 DLC map. When it comes to Cold War, though, the reason I feel like a lot of the maps they brought back actually worked really well was because the movement was pretty similar. We're kind of seeing how it goes with Nuketown right now in BO6, that it's like, it plays, yeah, it's the same map, but it plays so differently just because of the Omni movement. BO1 obviously did not have tag sprinting. Cold War didn't have tag sprinting. Yeah, it had sliding. The more, again, traditional feel of the movement still kept it relatively in line as to what you would expect. It didn't drastically change the flow of the maps. Honestly, I'm just a little skeptical to see how bringing back the older maps are going to play within BO6 just because of the tag sprinting and the new Omni movement and everything, so only time will tell with that. We'll just see how that goes. Wait, I forget. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can can edit your class in-game. I forgot about this. Besides the score streak system in this game, by far one of, if not the most obnoxious thing about this game, was this combination right here. The suppressed thermal Barrett and Black Ops Cold War. Yeah, I'm gonna just say it. You were an absolute trash can if you unironically use this thing. The rattiest thing that people would do, they would throw smoke down, sit in the smoke, and do this all day. Absolutely horrible. The fact that this was even allowed is beyond me. I feel gross for even doing that. I feel like I need to go take a shower. Absolute trash can playstyle, and any quote clips hit with this straight into the fucking trash. I'm really not trying to do it, but I know that I kind of am, considering that I'm just talking about it, but I'm really not trying to speak it into existence with BO6, but I have a sneaking suspicion we're probably going to see it a good bit, and it's going to annoy the shit out of me. A part of me is so petty about it. I'm like, you know what? No, it's a good thing we didn't get anything like the PSG in this game, or really any other semi-auto sniper. We don't deserve it because of the rats that did that. I'm getting so heated thinking about it, but it's true. Like, it really was. If I were to compare it to anything, it's like the OG MW2 one-man army noob tube spamming. It's the same kind of concept with this game. Absolutely awful. That with the strafe runs and the air patrols and everything mixed within it, it was just as bad, just as obnoxious. But yeah, I was so petty about it because I was like, dude, yeah, I'm glad we didn't get another good semi-auto in this game. We didn't deserve it, and we still don't. I want the Barrett and BO6 to be good. I wouldn't mind if it performed something similar to this. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm used to it, but I also understand, again, we're definitely not getting any sort of OG MW2, MW3, or really just OG Modern Warfare-esque kind of Barrett. I'm not expecting that at all. I wouldn't mind if it performed something like this, but I'm just saying, though, if people start spamming the whole thermal suppressor thing again, I hope they nerf this thing into the dirt and it becomes completely unusable. We don't deserve a good Barrett if people are going to keep doing that. What am I doing, bro? It's 3:30 in the morning and I'm getting this heated just thinking about what it could possibly be. Listen, it's passion, all right? I got so sick of dealing with it, considering how much I played Cold War. It was obnoxious. Aside all the yapping about the things that I really didn't like about this game, or just the really obnoxious, cheesy playstyles, if there's anything that I really did love about this game, it is the Tundra. Easily one of my favorite snipers they've ever added to Call of Duty. And the one thing that I really do regret was not getting my 100,000 kills with a Tundra. I mean, yeah, I can still say that, yeah, at some point in time I'll get it, but it's not looking likely, at least. At least anytime soon, for that matter. Like, this here is the reason why I feel like I'm so used to the slow sniping in Call of Duty, because I got so used to the Tundra. That's also another thing. I mean, I know I talked about it at the start of the video, that the Barrett was easily the worst Barrett we had ever seen in Call of Duty at the time when they brought it into this game, but it was also the slowest. This game had the slowest sniping we had ever in Call of Duty. But I think it's part of the reason as to why this game was just super sad. Oh my god, you're so obnoxious.
Marshall users. I can't hit a shot, so I have to switch to my Marshall.
As I was going to say, though, it really is a huge part of the reason as to why I feel like the sniping in this game, once you got it down, was so satisfying.
One by.
We've taken the lead.
Port Nova authorizing harp overhead.
Are you chasing me? Oh, he is chasing me. What do you think you're doing? Decided to go absolutely crazy at the end of the game. Pop the harp.
Bring the dub home, boys. Let's go.
I was kind of saying it earlier, but despite all of its flaws, despite the way this game happened, despite the things that really annoy me about this game, Black Ops Cold War here is still definitely one of my favorite Call of Duties, and again, could potentially be a top 5 COD. That's kind of a reminder, as a matter of fact. What I really need to do is sit down and make one of those COD tier list videos one of these days and like actually rank all of the Call of Duty games, in my opinion. I really did and still do love Cold War, and when I compare it to BO6, I feel like BO6 right now is going to kind of go through a similar, at least the way that I'm hoping it does, is go through a very similar character development that Cold War did. With the launch of BO6, I feel like the campaign and the zombies are very, very solid, but when it comes to the multiplayer, we're still going through the growing pains of Omni movement and still learning what works best for it. There's so many small pieces to the puzzle and fundamentals of what makes BO6 as of right now, and depending on how you look at it, thankfully, with Call of Duty being in the live service era, we're gonna see what the game can eventually turn into. Not to disregard the problems and what criticisms people might have right now at launch, but again, it's one of those things that with live service, we're going to see how the game turns out. And again, I really do hope we see a very similar thing to what we saw here in Black Ops Cold War, or even Modern Warfare 3 for that matter, where we had arguably the best post-launch support we had ever had for a COD. The thing is with me in Black Ops 6, I do enjoy the game. I'm still enjoying playing the game, but also I completely understand a lot lot of people's criticisms about the maps, especially when it comes to the multiplayer. In due time, of course, again, we're gonna get more DLC, we're gonna get more maps, and we'll just see what it turns into. So, I don't know though. This whole video, I feel like, was just a giant yap session. But with that all being said, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. This was Black Ops Cold War 4 years later. Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of Black Ops Cold War. Better yet, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section, where would you guys rank Black Ops Cold War? Is it in your top 5? Is it the worst Call of Duty of all time? Is it the best? Let me know. I said it at the start of the video, but again, it was a complete miracle what Treyarch was able to do with this game, given the pandemic, basically making this game from home. And what it eventually turned into, like, yes, of course, it would have been better if they had that extra year to really make this game, but what they were able to do, given the circumstances, I love this game. Love this game, love what it became, truly is and was one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time. So again, though, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for checking it out. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. It's Enrage, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody.